Okay, I just wanted to explain some of the answers to this study guide since I wasn't there to review it with you yet. I'm not going to write all the answers to it, but I will just explain the answers to each question to hopefully help you with your comprehension of the first 9 chapters of the House of Scorpion. So if we start with how Matteo Alacran is created, hopefully everybody realizes that this Matteo Alacran right here is Matt. And he is the kid, he is a clone. He is cloned from the DNA of El Patron, who is the 140-some-year-old man. He's created by taking El Patron's DNA and through some technology putting them into the dish, creating an embryo, I suppose, and then having the embryo grow into an actual child inside a cow. So it is a DNA cloning technology that obviously we do not use in real life, but that is the premise of where Matt came from. So when you ask how Matt is different than the kids at his window, I mean, in my opinion, the only way that he's really different is the fact that he is a clone. So the way he was created is different than a child who is naturally created, and Matt is created as a clone in a dish and a cow. How they're the same is they all want to play. They all want to, they have feelings. Matt cries. Matt feels lonely. Matt feels desire to play with other kids. So, is he really any different than those kids? Not really. Not that anybody would ever be able to tell, unless you knew, of course, how he was created as an embryo. Maria, let's understand what the term Egypt even means. I hope people are clear that in Egypt, it is a clone. However, unlike Matt, it is a clone who has had his intelligence blunted in his brain, meaning they have no free will. They can't make decisions for themselves. They've had a chip put in their brain that only enables them to do everyday functions like eat, drink, walk, do work, if they are told to do so. So they are essentially unintelligent, but not because they were born unintelligent, just because they have this chip in their brain. Therefore, it's considered a sign of to call someone an Egypt. It's an insult, basically. Now, Matt is not an Egypt. Matt is just simply a clone. He has not had his intelligence blunted because the lab workers even said clones of El Patron, of the original Matteo Alacran, do not get the chip in their brain. They say that in the first page or two. So just knowing that that's what an Egypt is. The evidence that this is not a nice word to call her is that she cries about it. I think she starts to like suck her thumb or do something where she gets very upset that she is called that. So that really takes care of this question too, of how he's different than the other clones. He's different because he is not turned into an Egypt. Also, he is put in a house with Celia to be raised, which the other clones are not. He's given, not at first because he's stuck in that house, but he's given some of the luxuries that, Maria and Amelia and Benito and Tom are all given. I think this is a good place to quickly stop and talk about the family tree of the Alacrans. This is in the very beginning of your book as well. But just to give you a quick lesson on that, you have El Patron, who's 143, I believe, at the top. And then it goes down generations and generations and generations of people who really aren't important at this point to Mr. Alacran, who lives in the Alacran estate. He's the one really mean to Matt, and then his wife is Felicia. She's the really depressed woman who takes the laudanum, the medicine, all the time, and she plays the piano. They have together 3 children. Their children are Tom, the little redheaded one that's annoying, Benito, and Steven. And those are the 3 younger boys who live at the Alacran estate that Matt often sees out his window. El Patron also came down here and has a clone of himself who is Matt, of course, who's the same age roughly as these kids right here. Now, separately over here, we have the Mendozas. The Mendozas are not part of the Alacran family. Senator Mendoza is a U.S. senator who obviously has business to do in Opium, that the country where the Alacrans live, and he is there for the summer with his girls. His girls are Maria and Amelia, and they're kind of there on vacation. You can think of it as playing with Tom, Benito, Steven, and soon Matt. So hopefully that helps you a little bit with the Alacran family tree. Okay, so we didn't get to answer question 5. So question 5, what do the other kids think of clones? They think that they discriminate against them. They think that they're, a lesser form of being, simply for the fact of how they were created. Do you agree that's your opinion, as long as you can back it up? Do I agree? No. But because I think that when you look at Matt and talk to Matt and get to know Matt, there's no difference between him and the other kids. But that is your opinion. Does Matt have feelings? My opinion is yes. He does have feelings. To use a cause and effect relationship to show that, it could be because he got cut with glass, the effect is he cried. Because he saw kids outside, he wanted to play with them. Because he wasn't outside with the kids, the effect is he was lonely. Because Celia is nice to him, the effect is he loves her. There are a lot of things that show that he has feelings. This one's pretty tough to get wrong, but why was Matt relieved to see them go? My opinion that he was frankly relieved to see them go because it was a big tease for him to see them. If you see the people that you want the most outside of your window and you want them and you can't have them, it would be easier if you just shut them out in his mind and not have the temptation. He had created his own little world in his own mind, his own little kingdom in that sawdust. And I think that he needed to kind of live that world in order to block out the rest of the world so that he could simply cope with the terrible conditions that he was in. Making inferences about what the doctor meant when he told Rosa that clones go to pieces, you could infer that maybe the doctor meant they physically fall apart because they're clones. You could mean that the doctor meant that clones mentally destruct or mentally fall apart. But you get the impression that clones, in the doctor's opinion, as they get older, something breaks down, something doesn't go right with them. What is strange about the teacher is that she keeps repeating things over and over. When Matt is ready to go on to a next lesson, she doesn't have the ability to go on to the next lessons. So what that really tells us is that she's in Egypt because she's been programmed to just teach him certain lessons and doesn't have the free thought or free will to realize, okay, he's ready to go on to something more advanced, so I should teach him something else. She doesn't have the ability to do that. Why is Matt in a rage to learn? Again, this is pretty much your, an inference or even an opinion. In my opinion, he's in a rage to learn because he wants to prove himself. He is thought of as a lesser being because he's a clone. So he figures, fine, if I am able to do, better than everyone in math and learn 2 languages and be an amazing artist and musician, then how can anyone deny that I am awesome, basically? So he's almost proving himself. Hopefully this helps you guys a little bit with the first 9 chapters. We're also going to take a look at the map on Friday and kind of iron out where everything is. And I think that'll make things a little easier for you as well. Feel free to email me if you have any questions about this. Thanks.